voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark path has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. They sing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
It is my family's hope that Thomas Henry Muddy Peterson's story continues to be shared, not just here, but across the world. Too many still don't know who he was or what he achieved. We must teach it in schools, share it in our communities, and use social media to spread his legacy. And we must remember what he stood for: voting.
I think the interesting points about the creation of the flag and the monarch is that it was in both our minds for a long time. Even as a child at 3 years old, I would go and sit on the curb in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and watch the parade go by. I see the American flag, I see the flag that represents the Italian, Spanish, whatever it might be, and they would march up and down the street honoring the 30th of May. And then when it came time for the Negro at that time in the town, I remember every year we would march down. And guess what? All we had was the American flag. But after about 2.5 weeks, we came up with this idea to make a flag. It had diagonal stripes of red and black, and to have a fig wreath circled in the center, and a blunted sword. And of course, we had to recognize that each item, we had to have
To hear the voices that carried us, to see the history they want you to forget. Because this history, it isn't just in the books. It's in the ground, in the air, in you. The voices you'll meet today.
She loves Essex County, the state of New Jersey, and the city of Newark. Thank you for the dedication of this beautiful building and statue. It is a great, great honor. Thank you.
Women's rights in southern states for using violence, intimidation, and racist laws to prevent African Americans from registering to vote. The Freedom Party went on to challenge the alt-right Mississippi Democratic Party, the Dixiecrats, by sending their own delegates to the Democratic National Convention in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The Freedom Party's rioters, our members have lost their jobs, been beaten, spent days in jail, been shot at, and had their homes firebombed, all because we want to participate as voters in the democratic process. Freedom Party leader Fannie Lou Hamer testified before a hearing at the convention. It made national news. It's just about the land of the free and the home of the brave. Well, we have to speak. But now, wonderful ambassador is the North Carolina historical state. Because these also little experience and living else.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Curitan, and I'm the Executive Director of the New Jersey Historical Commission. And it's my honor to welcome you to tonight's program. 2026 is an important year for many reasons. Of course, it's the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, the 250th anniversary of the establishment of the state of New Jersey. Our first constitution is 250 years old this year. But it is also the 100th anniversary of a continuous celebration of Black history in the United States and here in New Jersey. And we are delighted tonight to present a program in which we look back at what that has meant over the last 100 years, the last 50 plus years at the New Jersey Historical Commission. And I'm just so grateful to the two members of our staff that you're going to hear from tonight. And the first of them is Noelle Lorraine Williams. She is the second director of the African American History Program here at the New Jersey Historical Commission. And I'm delighted to turn the program over to Noelle to get us started on tonight. Noelle, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. It is such a pleasure to be here this evening with everyone, share this presentation this evening. Okay, so celebrating the power of African American history and historic sites in New Jersey. So as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Carter G. Woodson is the founder of Negro History Week. So this year we have the opportunity to observe both the 100 years of Black history commemorations and also 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So it becomes a very important opportunity for us all to reflect on the power of New Jersey African American history and recommit ourselves to continued documentation, sharing of information, and exploration in the future. Here we have some of our African American historical reenactors here in New Jersey who portray people from the 18th and 19th century. To bring history to the public and to make history a living history. And so one of the terms that we'll be thinking through this year is New Jersey's Black liberation heritage. Some of you may have heard of the term Black liberation theology that was coined by James Cone, or we even have South African liberation heritage. And I think one of the unique opportunities we have here in New Jersey is that we have decades if not centuries, of African Americans really contributing to the ways that we understand democracy here in the state, as well as nationally. So just to introduce ourselves for all of those folks who might be new to the New Jersey Historical Commission, we're a state agency dedicated to the advancement of public knowledge and preservation of New Jersey history. It was established by law in 1967, and the work is founded on the fundamental belief that an understanding of our shared heritage is essential to sustaining a cohesive and robust democracy. The NJHC receives its funding primarily by legislative appropriation. It fulfills its mission through various initiatives, as well as an active grant program. The goal of the grant program and initiatives are to engage diverse audiences and practitioners in the active exploration, enjoyment, interpretation, understanding, and preservation of New Jersey history. So our offices are located here in Trenton in the Cultural Complex, with other agencies, including the State Library as well as the archives. We are different in that we're not the state library, right? So we do not keep books. We're not the archives. We do not keep any archives, nor are we the museum. We're also not historic preservation. But what we do is we share history with the public, and we support the New Jersey organizations, museums, and initiatives that do that through grants and our own programming. So the New Jersey Historical Commission and African American History Program have been significant of early and notable projects that have transformed the trajectory of African American history here in New Jersey. It's one of actually the few longstanding state-funded initiatives to consistently support active exploration, enjoyment, interpretation, understanding, and preservation of local history of African American history in the United States. So, for example, in other states, we may see funding towards preservation or things that have to do with preserving the buildings, which are a component of heritage, right? Which we'll discuss today. But what this is state funding that supports the general operating support of organizations, but it also supports exhibitions, research, and all of the things we need to, all the components that are necessary to build and explore the historical knowledge of the various folks who make up our communities here in New Jersey. So the commission has awarded more than 100 direct grants directly to African American history projects from 2018 to 2025 through general operating supports, project grants, and county history program. And this does not actually include organizations that have African American history as a part of their programming. So say, for example, if something has been granted just generally, and say half the program is African American history, that number doesn't take into account for that. We also have the artifact assessment program and the caucus archival projects. And so one of the things is that the commission administers grants, but we also have the County History Partnership Program that supports smaller organizations, and they actually distribute that money on the county level. So here's some images of just a couple of images of projects that we've supported in the past. So we see some exhibition research and fabrication support. As far as our county history partnership program, we see like Stoutsburg Sourland, which has received funding at the county level. And obviously, this is just the tip of the iceberg. One of the other things that the commission is so proud to celebrate during this juncture, right, of 100 years of African American history, is that the commission has been the historic leader in publishing grants and disseminating the history of African Americans in New Jersey, including the digitized journal New Jersey Studies, an interdisciplinary journal, and some of our out-of-print publications that are generously scanned by the state library. So you can actually find all of these online, including Afro-Americans in New Jersey by my predecessor, Giles Wright, Steal Away, which I'm sure many of you have copies of. The New Jersey African American History Curriculum Guide, which you can also still find online. And also one of our newer publications, bibliographic resources relating to the experiences of people of African descent, Native Americans, and women in the Revolutionary era in New Jersey. So basically, in conjunction with one of our colleagues, Dr. James Amamasor, we have explored various laws, bills, literature, manuscripts, to look at how they, when and where they enter in the lives of African Americans, Native Americans, and women for in observance of the upcoming 250th. And so you have the opportunity, you can find this on the African American history page on the New Jersey Historical Commission page. And so it'll share some of the laws, and then it'll have a short citation explanation below it. This is great. You can also search through the PDF. So if you're looking for something, say with regard to let's see, like farming, or I don't know, or homes, and you want to just do a search, you can do a search that way. All of these documents are available online. So the commission also partners, funds, and uplifts some of New Jersey's most significant manuscripts and publishings and projects on African American history, including The Ragged Road to Abolition received an award from the commission. Freedom Not Far Distant by the late, great Clement Alexander Price was done in partnership with the New Jersey Historical Commission. Black New Jersey by Graham Russell Hodges won an award, and he is a colleague and a supporter of the commission. And also the Kruger Scott Oral History Collection, which was led and compiled by my predecessor, Giles Wright. And so today I just want to take a moment, since this is the commemorative period, just to remember our leaders of African American history here in New Jersey. We have Professor Giles Wright, who was the predecessor and the first director of African American history, the African American History Program here at the New Jersey Historical Commission. Professor Giles Wright was also a professor, and he authored two of the books that I was showing in the previous slide, conducted several oral history projects, and really paved the way for rigorous scholarship and dissemination of information around African American history. Dr. Clement Price, who was professor at Rutgers University, Newark, and both Professor Wright and Dr. Price are the founders of one of our co-sponsored initiatives, the Marion Thompson Wright Lecture, which actually took place this weekend. It was the 46th year of New Jersey's longest running African American History Conference. And we'll talk a little bit about it later. And of course, Dr. Marion Thompson Wright. Dr. Marion Thompson Wright is one, I believe she is the country's first Black woman PhD in history. She was born in East Orange, New Jersey. She also went to school at Howard. And Dr. Wright, Thompson Wright, really paved the way in understanding the laws and education system of New Jersey, and really helped to define African American history in New Jersey, um, as the vanguard in having conversations and activist work around our rights in our community, but really defining what did it mean to be African American in the North, and emerging out of slavery in the North, and really shaping and defining our communities. So the purpose of the African American History Program is to really increase New Jersey's resident and visitor engagement, visitation, and education with more than 3 centuries of New Jersey African American history present in our historic sites, our public museums, historic houses, universities, cultural institutions, and archives. Oh, I apologize that this is cut off at the top. So one of the things or the initiatives of the New Jersey Historical Commission are our prizes. So outside of grants, the commission administers prizes. And one of the prizes that the African American History Program administers is the Mildred Barry Garvin Prize. Just many accolades to Mildred Barry Garvin, who was born in East Orange, who was a legislative leader as well as an education leader in New Jersey. And we are honored to give this prize every year for a K through 12 New Jersey teacher, guidance counselor, or school librarian for outstanding teaching of African American history, or outstanding performance in a related activity. And here we could see Tamar LaShore Owens, who received the award this weekend, and also Teresa Mon. And so the African American History Program, one of the key aspects of it is also community collaborations. So as I indicated earlier, we are a co-founder and planner of the annual Marion Thompson Wright Lecture. And we also advise and also collaborate with other programs, including the Sankofa Collaborative, which creates conferences and talks around African American history. Also, we co-led a project, or we supported, my apologies, a project with the Sankofa Collaborative in preparation for the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail. We also sometimes work with the Amistad Commission, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. We've spoken at their conferences, and we also share information from their department, as well as the work of our other sister agencies, state archives, and various agencies. And we're really excited for the 250th, because as you all can see on the left, the New York Museum of Art has actually created a book called Liberty and Legacy, that takes some of the interpretive themes that we have from our initiative, Revolution NJ, which is the name of the initiative for all of the organizations in the state that are working to commemorate the 250th. And when we say commemorate, we're talking about engaging in discussions, bringing communities together, and really having creating spaces where it is safe to discuss what it means to be American? What does it mean to be a citizen? What are the histories we want to share with each other? Opportunities for us to learn from one another. So the Newark Museum of Art project is really exciting in the sense that we get to go to the museum, look at some of these themes of citizenship, and speak with our friends and our families about it. Lonnie Bunch, as some of you know, this is a Smithsonian director. He is also a Belleville and Newark native. So we see him pictured here at one of our conferences, and also over here, one of the community meetings we hosted at Newark Museum of Art for the Black Heritage Trail. And so I'll talk a little bit about the Black Heritage Trail. My colleague, Dr. Sinatra Smith, will go some more into the Heritage Trail. And one of the things before when the bill was signed by Governor Murphy was that the Historical Commission was actually entrusted to implement the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail bill, which you can also find online. And over here, I've put some fun images of the whole process of the Black Heritage Trail bill. One of the things about the bill is that we had to build the Black Heritage Trail from the ground up. And one of the beliefs of the New Jersey Historical Commission is to do everything informed by community. So we hosted 3 community meetings, 2 with the public, 1 virtual. You can see my colleagues here, Dr. Smith and Mr. Gregory O'Day, meeting around the guidelines. And over here, we have Greg looking at showing the QR code in a video that we posted on social media, where people gave us their feedback when we asked them, how would you all like to see a QR code that connects you to the state website, so that when people go to see the marker, they're not only seeing a beautiful marker, but that they're also connecting to learn more about the history of the site, but connecting to the other markers or connecting to our programs, our conferences, and our other events and our grants, so that we can keep building and empowering New Jersey. And down at the bottom, I'm showing an image that folks rarely get to see of one of our markers before it's actually painted. All of these markers, the markers take approximately 8 weeks to create. And as a part of the Black Heritage Trail bill, we had to actually put a bid out to get fabricators. And so that took several months. But we were so excited to find CWA fabricators who have worked on lots of markers around the country. And here you get to see the marker before it's painted. Each of the letters are placed on the sign by hand, and the different colors are then put on the signs. And so even though it took us approximately 2.5 years to meet with attorneys, meet with the community, engage folks on social media, find the fabricator, we are so happy to be sharing this project now. One of the other things just the African American History program does is we're doing original programming like tonight. So we produce a panel series. It's available on the YouTube page. We also produce a Black History in New Jersey events list. It shows the different programs that are happening at our Black Heritage Trail sites, but even at non-affiliated sites or some of our grantees, we share the information about the events there. And so Gregory will put that link in the chat for the link tree. We also contribute to content for print matter and social media. So some of the publications that have covered the African American History program in the Black Heritage Trail include original content in Teen Vogue, USA Today, NewJersey.com, and WNYC. And so we're happy to support that. That's one of the great things about this program being reinstilled after it was gone for more than a decade, is that now we get to engage the press with scholarly research, and also bringing in the voices of the various organizations around New Jersey. Another aspect of our community collaboration is also working with like sites like New Jersey Transit. So for Juneteenth in 2024, New Jersey Transit invited us to do posters for their train station, profiling some of our great sites on the Black Heritage Trail that were near train stations. So we got to profile our Atlantic City site, Chicken Bone Beach, Crane House in Montclair, and Sinatra will discuss it later, but the Dr. Still site. And so that travelers can see some of the opportunities for heritage and learning more about history here in New Jersey. So one of the things I want to invite folks to join our mailing list if you're not a part of our mailing list, and also yeah, most importantly, join our mailing list and visit our events list, because over the next year, we will be going deeper into the meaning of democracy and citizenship as we work through this 100 years of Black history commemorations, and also 250 years of since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So, for example, even though people don't usually think of slavery here in New Jersey, slavery existed in New Jersey even before the state was formed. And so we see over here on the side the Fugitive Slave Act that was signed by George Washington in 1793. That act confirmed for the new nation that if enslaved people escaped to other states, they could be brought back to the state from whence they came. Of course, this combined with existing laws in New Jersey that were similar, that people could be brought to trial if they were found to be escaped enslaved people. Now, what is the problem with this? This is one of the things we'll explore in the Freedom Seeker series this year. One of the problems with this, besides enslavement being fundamentally wrong to human laws of justice, is that free African Americans who lived in New Jersey were then, by law, allowed to be accused of being enslaved and brought to places like Georgia. We could see that in the movie 12 Years a Slave, where Solomon Northup is stolen and brought to the South. This was also happening in New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and other places. So why is this important as we think about the 250th this year? Is that one of the laws we'll explore, or precedents, no, I would say decisions that's passed regarding the Fugitive Slave Act. And just for clarity, because I know most of you are probably familiar with the Fugitive Slave Law, which is later in 1850, is that it creates an unsaid and sometimes said rule that all African Americans are considered to be enslaved until proven otherwise. This sets into motion centuries of African American citizenship being questioned. And even though with New Jersey, African Americans who met the property requirement could actually vote, later in the early 1800s, that right is actually taken away. So then when we look at New Jersey African American history, we actually see African American communities fighting for the right to get the vote back versus what other folks are doing in other states where they didn't initially have the vote. But looking at how citizenship is unstable for both enslaved and free African Americans as early as the late 1700s within the law, and how African Americans worked. So they wrote books. We see at the bottom Samuel Ringgold Ward, who at one point lived in Newark. He wrote a book called The Autobiography of a Fugitive Negro. His parents actually lived in Newark, and his mother was forced to leave when the father died. Um, we also learn about African Americans who were Black abolitionists. And we also see the local laws over here to the middle right. You can see how in Newark, in 1801, they're creating laws about people congregating. And one of the things we hope to think about this year is what does that mean, and what does that mean about our present day and how we understand New Jersey? An integral part to New Jersey's Black liberation heritage is writing, performance, and oral expression, from spoken word to lectures in early churches. We see over and over again that African Americans were engaging in sharing the word and writing the word as early as 1801, with the formation of the African Society, which was established in both Newark and New Brunswick to help train missionary missionary spiritual leaders in the Presbyterian Church. So using that as an opportunity to educate young Black men and to lead the communities. And one of the things that we see in Philadelphia and in New Jersey, as well as New York, is that many of these people who take advantage of this training for missionary work actually end up staying here and leading communities. Samuel Cornish from Delaware moved to Philadelphia, pictured here in the second row. He was one of those folks. He created a church. He was trained in Philly. He moved to New York, establishes the first Black church here, moves to Newark and Belleville. And he also writes this document on the left called the Colonization Scheme, where considered in the rejection by the colored people in the tendency to uphold caste in the United States. Basically, one of the major movements in New Jersey during the 1800s was that once white abolitionists, as well as white enslavers, saw the increasing number of free Black African Americans, that they realized that, or they believed that whites and African Americans could not coexist. And so they sought to raise money for the colonization movement. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Liberia. The Stockton family helped to establish Liberia in West Africa. But they worked for many years to try to get the New Jersey government to pay to transport free African Americans to West Africa. And here, the colonization scheme considered, you can actually find a copy online. Reverend Samuel Cornish and Theodore Wright do a 40-page document explaining why it's important for African Americans to have a voice in staying here in New Jersey in the United States, and that the colonization movement is really about disenfranchising African Americans. African Americans actually launched a counter movement, a Black emigration movement for those that were interested in moving to places like Africa and Haiti and Trinidad. And so we actually see these documents. Many people think there aren't written documents documents or archives about African American or Black liberation heritage, but there are. And then we see over here on the right, Ntozake Shange's For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. Ntozake Shange was born here in Trenton, and we are so proud to have a marker that will be going up in her memory at her grade school later this year. In the middle, we have Amina Baraka and the Black Arts Movement, which we're still feeling the amazing reverberations on 20th century Black beauty, Black writing, Black performance art, and even Black economic progress. And that is all rooted here in New Jersey. Another aspect we'll be talking about during the Freedom Seeker program is also churches and conventions. The Black Heritage Trail site, Sinatra may touch on this. We do actually have a lot of nominations, approved nominations from churches. And why? Because churches were the foundation of African American organizing and political activity, where also research has been emerging over the last 10 to 20 years of churches as sites of Underground Railroad. So we're really learning how African Americans really were the foundation and the engine behind the Underground Railroad. Many of us, when we were younger, were not taught that. But these Black churches were beacons of freedom for many people. And on the left, I have a picture of a house because even as early as the 1780s, in the 1790s, African Americans would meet in attics, and they would invite traveling preachers. One of the things we'll see in one of the essays for Freedom Seeker is we'll actually see the accusations of some enslavers of calling some of these preachers that they trusted that they're pretending to be free, right? So what we see in New Jersey, and actually Kenneth Williams has a great book about this, about the mask of the African American preacher in New Jersey, and how he is both faithful, but he's also using his role as a reverend or a preacher to free his people and to organize them. And so that will be important for us to look at as we do this 100 years of Black history commemorations, as well as in looking and observing the 250th of the Declaration of Independence and how African Americans contributed to that. And so in closing, today we're going to close out discussing two of our programs. So I'm going to close with the Freedom Seeker program that will be debuting in July, which will include videos and essays, programming, and really expanding on some of these histories that I had the opportunity to touch on in today's program. It will also feature a volunteer program. So we will be offering the opportunity for people to assist in transcribing archival documents about African American history. So we have in the possession at the Newark Public Library manumission papers for enslaved African Americans. These are all handwritten. And what's so great about the volunteer transcription program is that you'll be able to do it from your home. We'll also be soliciting opportunities from our Black Heritage Trail sites, as well as some of our organizations, to see if they have volunteer opportunities. And we're really seeing the 250th as a deeper engagement into African American history here, and working with our partners at Revolution NJ. As I shared earlier, Revolution NJ is spearheaded by the New Jersey Historical Commission and Crossroads. We're the partners in really supporting New Jersey organizations in promoting their programs, getting the word out, and using this opportunity to think about what democracy means now. And so please, if you're not a part of our mailing list, please join the mailing list. And also, if you are interested in the volunteer program, we will be sharing information about that over the next couple of months in preparation for the 4th of July. And also, we look forward to your engagement around the Black Heritage Trail as well. So I hope you share my excitement in this year's commemoration of Black history commemorations, and also the history, and really looking at what the Declaration, this 250-year marking of the Declaration of Independence, what that means, not only for certain groups, but for African Americans, Latinos, Asian people. And New Jersey is one of the most diverse states. And the story of the American Revolution is an international story, right? And so we look forward to engaging you all. And I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Sinatra Smith, to share about the Black Heritage Trail. And also feel free if you would like to know more about Revolution NJ and upcoming Freedom Seeker, our grants program, please join our mailing list so we can let you know about this information. And so, Sinatra, welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for sticking around with us. I am going to go ahead and share my screen and talk to you all this evening about the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail. So you can kind of consider this your action item. Now that we've gotten all of this amazing history from our director extraordinaire, Noelle Lorraine Williams, if you've got a site that you're interested in nominating or that you're interested in sharing the history on and would like to collaborate on a nomination, this is how you can do that. So we've got our website and our email address on the screen here. Our website is blackheritagetrail.nj.gov. And you can also reach us at njblackheritagetrail@sos.nj.gov. So the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail was signed into legislation by Governor Murphy on September 7th, 2022, and it calls for the New Jersey Historical Commission to establish a Black Heritage Trail to promote awareness and appreciation of Black history, heritage, and culture that will highlight Black heritage sites through historical markers in a trail-like path that connects the stories of Black life and resiliency. And I want to underscore trail-like. This is not a small geographic region that we are encompassing. So we do not have a trolley or a bus or something like that that takes you to all of the sites on the Black Heritage Trail, because we are literally all the way from Bergen County down to Cape May County. There are a lot of walking tours and bus tours and trolley tours that are available in different boroughs and counties throughout the state. And we do try to collect those and put those on our website. Greg has been dropping the link to our link tree and our tours that other organizations are hosting in the chat. So take a chance, when you have a chance, take a look at that. The New Jersey Historical Commission will seek to encompass as many New Jersey Black heritage sites as practical. And we really rely on you to do a lot of that work for us. Our team is small but mighty. You see myself as the project manager, Noelle is the director of the African American History Program and the Black Heritage Trail, and Gregory O'Day, who's been active in the chat, is our assistant project manager. So obviously we can't do this without the community. So we really do rely on nominations that come from folks who are already stewarding these histories. And we are willing and able to help write those nominations if you need some assistance. But we really do need your support in order to continue to expand the Black Heritage Trail. So in identifying specific sites to be included in the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail, special consideration will be given to Black heritage sites that are in close geographic proximity to other Black heritage sites or thematically linked by surrounding arts, cultural, historical, entertainment, or other tourism destinations or exhibits of interest to tourists interested in Black heritage sites. The New Jersey Black Heritage Trail shall be inclusive of all eras as well as be geographically representative of the entire state. It is also an inclusive representation of Blackness. It is not simply just African Americans. We are also interested in highlighting Afro-Latinos, other Caribbean immigrants, African immigrants. So please, if you've got some information, if you've got a site in mind, please do not hesitate to nominate. That rhymed. So these are our current advisory committee members. We've got our top three, the top row of this screen are our permanent members. Derek Davis, who represents the New Jersey Black Heritage Foundation. Dr. Kate Markapole, who is with the Division of Environmental Protection. That's where the Historical Preservation Office exists. And Michael Stiles, who's with the Division of Travel and Tourism, because this is a collaborative effort between the Historical Commission, Environmental Protection, and Travel and Tourism. We've also got our community scholars who rotate every 2 years. Right now, we have Crystal Langford with the Lost Souls Memorial Project and Dolly Marshall with the City of Camden. She's the Historic Preservation Specialist. And we also wanted to give a big shout out and a huge thank you to our past advisory committee members, Dr. Jesse Baker, who's an assistant teaching professor of history at Rutgers University Camden, Dr. Kendra Boyd, who was representing the New Jersey Black Heritage Foundation, Alicia Quinn, who was working with the Division of Travel and Tourism, and Dr. Hetty Williams, who is a professor of history at Monmouth University. So how do you nominate a site for the Black Heritage Trail? It's easier than you think. Okay, so step one is you submit a pre-application worksheet, which outlines your intention to apply for the Black Heritage Trail. And these worksheets will be accepted for review on a rolling basis. Greg has placed this link in the chat a few times, but you can also see it on the screen. This link will always exist until we change it, in which case it'll be updated on the website. But you can go ahead and submit your pre-application worksheet today, tomorrow, next week, whenever you're ready. And we will step two, set up a meeting with you. So after you submit that worksheet, you'll not immediately, but very quickly, receive an email from our team asking you to schedule a meeting with us so that we can discuss the application process and share resources. The one that I'm always the most excited to share is that we are able to review drafts and offer feedback on nominations because we as the staff do not make the final decisions about who's on the Black Heritage Trail. So if you're nervous about doing the research side of it, don't worry, we are here to help. So after that meeting, we will send the application link and you'll be able to go ahead and start working on the application form. So after you receive that invitation to complete the full application, you'll need to gather primary and secondary sources to answer a series of historical narrative prompts. And you will also share your proposed historical marker title and text to be revised by staff after the site is approved. So again, you are more than welcome to share drafts with us ahead of time once you get to the application stage. If there's any nominators in the virtual audience who are applying for the 2026 cycle, we've met with all of you and you know that we are here to help. So please, that will never change. If you need some assistance, let us know. So now I want to get into some of the sites, right? We've talked a lot about what it means to contribute to Black history in New Jersey. You got to see a little sneak peek of the proofs of the markers. And you can see one of the markers here. I'll point it out right there. That was the first marker that we unveiled at the historically Black Franklin Street School down in Cape May in front of the Cape May Library, which used to be a school for Black children. We have a lot of different types of sites. As Noelle has already mentioned, we have a lot of African-American churches and cemeteries, but we also have the Beach Boardwalk at Chicken Bone Beach, or the Missouri Avenue Beach is what it's actually called. We also have libraries, museums, parks, performance venues, schools and universities, and even stores. There's the La Unique African-American Bookstore and Cultural Center, I believe it's the full title, down in Camden, that has also been approved to be a part of the Black Heritage Trail. So this is not necessarily a program that's only focused on history from the distant past. We're also collecting current histories. We've got a marker going at the Brook Branch skating rink. Branch Brook? I'm sure someone will correct me in the chat. I think it's Branch Brook skating rink. I'm not from here, guys. In Newark, to celebrate the creation of Jersey club music. So, we go all the way back to enslavement, Underground Railroad sites, Black churches that were started by enslaved and freed African Americans, to the current, to the present of Jersey Club, which I'm just so very excited about. So please be creative in your nominations as well. It doesn't need to be just the kind of more traditional history that we think about, that, oh, I'm going to go to the library and get a book and read a thing. Where anything that is contributing to Black history, heritage, culture, art, entertainment, all of that is welcome to be a part of the Black Heritage Trail, as long as you can demonstrate its historical significance in your application. So we currently have 77 approved sites. And that we cover 16 of New Jersey's 21 counties. So here you can see a breakdown of how many sites per county. If you don't see your county, it's because no one has nominated a site, or at least has not been approved for a site in your county. So please, please, please fill in the gap. If you see your county and there's only a few sites, if you know of some more, again, fill out that application, that pre-application worksheet, so that we can get you on our radar and start supporting you in the process of filling out your application when the new application cycle opens next year. So otherwise, if you live in Camden County, you might be happy, right? 14 sites, that's a lot. It's the largest proportion of sites, but that's not all there is. So let's cover the city, okay? Let's cover the county. Let's cover the state in Black Heritage Trail markers. So now I'm going to share some of our sites that represent different types of sites and different types of organizations that have nominated for the Black Heritage Trail. We have a marker at the Shady Rest Country Club in Union County. And on the screen, you can see the marker text. But if you visit it, you can see the marker in person. They are beautiful. As Noelle mentioned already, they are in each marker individually is a work of art. They're hand laid, hand painted. They are gorgeous, and they're massive when you see them in person, right? So this was actually nominated by the organization that is preserving the history there at Shady Rest Country Club. So we do often work with historical societies, friends groups, or the site themselves, that if the museum or something like that is preserving the history that they've nominated for the Black Heritage Trail. Because oftentimes the site itself may not be the piece that's relevant, but maybe there's a specific exhibit in that site or something that took place there before the site became what it is today, that makes it relevant. So when you think of the Shady Rest Country Club, it is currently still an active golf course, right? Right behind us is, in this photo, is the clubhouse where you can go and get your clubs and balls and whatnot, sport ball, all of that. But to the right of us, which you can't see, is the more historic space where they've got some interpretation around the Black history of this site, because it was the first and longest running Black-owned golf course. Next, we're going to take a journey down to Burlington County. This is the Dr. James Still Office Historic Site. It is the only Black history site owned by the state. Again, the marker text is on the screen, but instead of showing you the marker unveiling photo, which is later in the presentation, you'll still get it. We did want to give a huge shout out to our chief public historian right here, Dr. Mark Lawrence, who has led archaeological visits and digs at the Dr. James Still site to continue to preserve that history. The building has been restored and it was reopened in September, October of last year, which is when we also did the marker unveiling. So if you haven't had a chance to journey down to Burlington County and check out this site, please do. Oh, and just to give you the background on this one, believe it was also nominated by the folks who work at the site, and there's a friends group that's affiliated with the site. So this was kind of a twofer where we were working with state agency staff from a different state agency than ours, the Department of Environmental Protection, is who preserves the site, the physical structure, and the history, as well as their friends group, which includes descendants. So that's a really unique opportunity that we really appreciated when we were working on this nomination. Next, we've got Historic Timbuktu, also in Burlington County. And we've got Derek Davis here pictured with us from the New Jersey Black Heritage Foundation, as well as our advisory committee member, Dolly Marshall, the historic preservation specialist for the city of Camden. And our nominator here, Guy Weston, who has nominated quite a few sites for Burlington County moving forward as well. So this was a little bit different because it was a privately owned site. Our legislation is written in such a way that we're not able to pay for markers on privately owned sites. So a lot of our private sites don't have physical markers yet because we're working on identifying some fundraising sources. We are here to help in all facets of the Black Heritage Trail from start to finish, right? So this one was nominated by Guy Weston and the organization that he runs with preserving Timbuktu's history, which was a Black township or Black community established in 1826. This is physically in West Hampton, New Jersey, but there's a lot of history about Timbuktu that group is preserving on the internet, but also at the cemetery that's down in West Hampton as well. So we're very pleased to have a Black Heritage Trail marker to contribute to that historical preservation. And next, we're going to slide over to Camden County and visit the Point. So this was another community organization, Preserve Black Haddonfield, I believe is the name of that organization. And it might be Preserving Black Haddonfield. Sorry about that. And we were able to work with the borough. I had to go and help them testify in front of the historic preservation, committee for the borough in order to get permission to get this marker installed. And then they even created a little mini park for it. This is an intersection that shows where the Black neighborhood once was in Haddonfield. There's a number of sites nearby. They do an amazing walking tour. This is the nominator, Adrienne Rhodes, who leads those walking tours sometimes, or coordinates them, we'll say, because she does have some other folks that she brings in to lead the tours. But she's doing a lot of amazing work down in Haddonfield. And again, Dolly Marshall from our advisory committee, she was able to come out and join that unveiling as well. So yes, we worked with the borough, with this organization in order to make sure we could not only install the marker, but get it approved to be a part of, a public site in the borough. And then they were so graciously created this mini park with a little bench so that if you wanted to sit down and reflect on the history while you're looking at this beautiful marker, you have some space to do that. So as I mentioned before, we are looking for ways to support our private sites since our legislation stipulates that we're not allowed to pay for their markers. The markers are about $3,000 a piece. We're looking for grants and we're sharing them with our nominators, with our sites so that they can apply. But if you're interested in sponsoring a marker or you know someone who may be interested in sponsoring a marker, please just have them email us at njblackheritagetrail@sos.nj.gov so that we can coordinate with them. And you can see the full list of all of the sites on our website, blackheritagetrail.nj.gov. But yes, please share the word, spread the word that we are soliciting donations. No, we are looking for people to continue to help support our sites in ways that we're not able to. So if you'd like to join our mailing list, you can visit bit.ly/NJHC mailing list. That is case sensitive. Our website again, blackheritagetrail.nj.gov. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that we can take some questions.
Great. So Greg is going to join us. So I know we were supposed to wrap up at 7:30, but Sinatra, you think we can take like two questions?
Yeah, we booked it until 8 o'clock. We have a little bit of time. Mhm.
So if there are any questions, I see in the chat, someone said, wonderful presentation. We'll take that. Thank you very much. Um, we didn't want to make the presentation too long, but one of the things we wanted to share is that for the design of the Black Heritage Trail marker, the actual symbol combines two Adinkra symbols. One that's speaks to the resilience and also a long winding journey. But we use typography from an African American designer for our copy font. And then for our title font, we used one from an African, was he from Mozambique, typographer. And so we were really excited about that. And then our designer was a Latina, Afro-Latina, who actually designed our logo, designed our font presentation, and the energetic presentation that we're doing for this. One of the things with the Black Heritage Trail is that we want it to be really sharing our archives and our knowledge, but we also want to share we want to share the excitement that African Americans feel about history. African Americans, Afro Latinos, Afro Asians, biracial folks, everyone, including people of European descent. We want to bring that energy that loves history, community, and community building into the work. So this is true for the Black Heritage Trail, the Mildred Barry Garvin Prize, our upcoming Freedom Seeker, and all of our programs. Any other questions? Does there need? So Sinatra, I see
Yes,
there's. Oh, great.
There's
yes,
Did you
quite a
there's
read it?
few, yeah. There's one in the Q&A. Is there a book of New Jersey Black Heritage Trail sites? We do not have a book for our sites. You have to visit our website to see the 77 sites, but this is a living trail and it's continuing to grow. We are currently in a nomination cycle. So we're adding on more sites every year.
But we can also, I'll put the link. We have a link that lists all of our sites. And also I'll give you all an email. We have a poster brochure that we would love to share with you guys. I know folks like to have it, put it in their house or put it in their classrooms. So if you would like a poster, please email the email I'm going to put in the chat. And then I'm also going to put a link so you guys can find all the sites.
Guys, there are two raised hands with questions.
Can you see the hands?
Yes,
Sinatra?
Mr. Charles Francis, and I believe there
Okay,
was
yes.
another one. Yes, okay.
Yes, I can see it. Let me unmute him.
Mr. Francis, you should be able to unmute and ask your question now.
Mr. Francis, please go ahead and ask your question. You are free. You're enabled to speak now.
Is it in the chat? Maybe he put it in the chat. Oh, okay.
No.
We will move to the next person with the hand raised. Mr. Francis, if you're able to work out your audio, feel free to raise your hand again. All right, we've got a phone number. I'm not sure what your name is, but you're up next, caller. You should be able to unmute and ask your question. Area code 201. All right, I will ask you to also raise your hand again if you are able to work out your audio issues. A. Diane Thomas.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a question, except a statement. This is excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I see there's something from Andrew Parker. We have been notified that we were approved for McCity City down here in South Jersey. I'd like to all of our sites here in our counties, or someone I should contact? Yeah, so the team is here. Sinatra and Greg are here. You can email New Jersey Black Heritage Trail, sos.newjersey.gov, or is it better, Sinatra, when they go to the link online and just schedule a meeting with you? Which
All of the above, all of the above.
Okay, so if someone could put the link to our Black Heritage Trail, I'll actually do that. So Sinatra, are there any other questions?
Yes.
So, and I'll put the link for folks who want to schedule meetings.
Andrew Parker, I see your hand was raised. Do you have a follow-up question? You should be able to, you're already unmuted, actually. You should be able to speak.
Yeah, I just unmuted. No, that was my question. I think I raised my hand and then typed it inside the chat. Figured I
Gotcha.
get one way or
Okay,
the other.
no
I figured I get
problem.
my question answered. And just to give a little bit more detail, just really quickly, I'm elected county commissioner, and I was in charge of culture and heritage, or liaison of culture and heritage. So one of the things that I took on was to have these markers put in by our historic society in Great Egg Harbor. So my question was, is there someone, I put together a proposal for our county so that we can do two sites. We have Chicken Bone Beach and now we have McKee City, but there are other like Morris Beach. There's other places that we've already identified as places that we think would be historically significant. So I was just wondering, with something like that, it, is that, you still want me to follow the contact way that you put in the chat?
Yeah, so any sites that you're interested in adding to the Black Heritage Trail, you'll need to fill out the pre-application worksheet. But if you just email us and let us know, we can send it directly to you.
Thank you.
All right.
I
see another question.
was going to add, yeah, you probably see the one I see, Sinatra, which is, are women's history markers included? A question in the chat.
So if they are Black women, yes, we have many Black women, including trans women, that we are celebrating on the Black Heritage Trail. So as long as they fit the criteria, the eligibility criteria of, contributing to New Jersey's Black history and heritage, then yes. And I see another question. Does there need to be a building on the site? There does not need to be a physical building in order for there to be a historical marker. That's the one thing that separates us from the Historic Preservation Office. They're usually preserving physical architectures, and we're preserving narratives and histories and sites and landscapes and all kinds of different things. So there does not have to be a physical building. There could have been one and it's been torn down, or there never was one because it's marking something like lost my train of thought, but wherever that sentence was going to land.
Yeah, so if it's marking a movement of folks, or a legacy, so the building may be gone, but we definitely want to mark that history. We have a couple of markers, for example, that talk about desegregation in New Jersey. Often people often bring up slavery. They don't know about slavery in New Jersey. They also don't know about desegregation. And one of our colleagues, Dr. Williams, actually prepared a great book on how New Jersey activists were the vanguard of desegregation, defining desegregation arguments in the United States. So, yeah. So please apply.
All right. I see one more hand has been raised, but I want to get to one more question in the chat. Is the grant for a marker on the map, or can we write about any Black history? I'm not 100% sure what your question is asking. If you can raise your hand, I'll unmute you so you can explain. This is Any Massage. All right, while we wait for you, I'm gonna go on to Nisha Parker.
Hi, how are you? Great presentation and everything. Appreciate you guys. I just have one quick question. So I currently work with the Amistad Commission as a teacher leader. And I just wanted to know, so when it comes to the students and putting in the classrooms and all and stuff like that, how can we arrange for you guys, for the commission, somebody, or who will be the contact person to have our students kind of like do interviews and stuff like that, so they can use it as a primary source in their new and then history, National History Day and 4th and 5th grade New Jersey History Day competitions.
Okay, so let me take a stab at that and I'll see what Sinatra or Greg might have to say about it. Ms. Parker, so do you mean so to use the organizations or the nominators as a primary source so that they're doing those interviews to learn more about the history that they're nominating? Is that what you're
No,
speaking to?
well, kind of, because I mean, you guys have like a lot of the documents and everything in there. So if there's one of my students that will have to do one of the topics that you guys have, and
Uh-huh.
they need that interview to do a primary source because you have to do primary and secondaries as part of the
Yeah.
competition rules. So if there's any way or any contact that we can have, so when they come to that point of it, I can be like, look, just call this person at the in New Jersey, your organization or your department, and that way they can have that contact person
Oh,
to do the interview for information, and they can go ahead with their research.
oh, great. So they can email the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail, and then wherever the question needs to go, whether it's to me or to Sinatra, or we need to send a resource, they can email us there. So, and we recently created a document for the Department of Education on different resources, but please use that email for the question, and then I can then figure out what exactly the students need.
All right, thank you.
Oh, sure.
All right. Dean Muhammad wants to know, or Dean Muhammad says, I'm interested in the Freedom Seekers volunteer opportunity. Is there training involved for the historic transcribing?
Hi. So definitely please join the mailing list. And what we might actually do is take all of these emails and put them onto the mailing list and then make sure that folks can unsubscribe if they don't want to be on the mailing list. We'll see. So I will be distributing that information about the volunteer. Now for the transcribing, probably I will have a webinar similar to this, just to instruct people on how to click on the document. We're using from the record, I believe. And so they have a great interface where you can see the document really big, and then you type it into the box. What you see there, and then other people can kind of assist with whatever you put in the box. So say for example, like in my case, I might see the word
Shrimp.
pepper, but it might be something else. And so we have this opportunity to crowdsource the information and to really assist our archives and libraries. So there will be something. So please join our mailing list, and I'll discuss with our team as to whether we should start putting our YouTube program mailing list, the whole thing on, and then just allowing people to unsubscribe. We'll figure that out. But the best way to do is just email us at NewJerseyBlackHeritageTrail.com just to make sure you're on the mailing list.
All right. I have now, you should be able to speak if you unmute.
Thank you, Dean Mohammed.
Uh, Eni, you're unmuted already. You should be able to ask your question.
Okay, well, if Eni doesn't is not able to speak, they can definitely email us. You can email us at the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail, and we'll be able to answer it. One of the three of us will answer the question.
Yep.
Since
And we have one last question. Can
Okay.
you talk about New Jersey's legacy in relation to other nearby states and or at the national level? I'm new to the state and interested in regional geographic trends. Thank you so much.
Oh, can you repeat that question? And Greg, can you put our YouTube link in there in the chat?
Sure.
So,
Nan Wakefield says, can you talk about New Jersey's legacy in relation to other nearby states and or at the national level? I'm new to the state and interested in regional geographic trends. Thank you so much.
So can we speak about it I'm sorry, I'm missing the first part of that.
No worries. No worries. Well, I think what we really should share is that actually the way that we craft the marker text after a nomination is submitted, it's approved, we do an internal staff revision, and we always connect our sites to the national narrative. So if we've got a site that is talking about the way that a specific Black church was being used for activism and purposes, then we'll connect it to the legacy, the national legacy of the Black church being used for activism purposes. We have a site that is about, we have several sites that are about public school desegregation. And so we'll also link those to Brown v. Board of Education. In some cases, New Jersey is the precedent. In some cases, we're following up on national legislation or national Supreme Court decisions that have already happened. So the best way to find out more is actually to check out the historical marker database. I'm going to drop the link for that in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where you can see the marker text up close for all of the markers that have been installed. Oh, everyone. There we go. So that is a list of all of our unveiled markers. You can see the text there, and it will discuss within each marker how it connects to a larger regional or national narrative.
Yes. And thank you, Sinatra. And thank you, Greg, for posting our YouTube. We would love to invite you all to definitely take a look at our YouTube. We have our African American history programs, as well as our Revolution NJ programs, as well as a host of other programs about New Jersey history, ranging from Native American symbols in our high schools and what does that mean as far as the future of our democracy and how we understand our identities, to how do we even talk about history, to just learning about enslavement or learning about civil rights. And so please check out our YouTube and our website. So thank you, Greg. And Greg has put the link for Rev NJ. And so we're looking forward to engaging y'all this year. So I guess on that note, I would just like to close for the evening. And so I want to say thank you to my colleagues, our esteemed director, Sarah Curitan, who's the executive director here at the New Jersey Historical Commission. Of course, Governor Sherrill, Lieutenant Governor Caldwell, and my colleagues, Dr. Sinatra Smith and Gregory O'Day, as well as our commission members, our staff, our grantees, and all of the folks who have worked to build New Jersey history over the past 150 years. Thank you. And we look forward to engaging you all more this year, and welcome to our new friends. Have a good evening, and we will see you all soon. Bye-bye.